Quick note, this video is sponsored by Honey. Honey is a free browser add-on available on Google, Opera, Firefox, and Safari. If it has a browser, it has Honey. All you have to do is when you're at the website checkout, click on the orange button and it will scan the entire internet to find discount codes for you. They can normally save you between 2 and 15%. Trust me, that adds up. There's literally no reason not to install Honey. It takes 2 clicks. Oh, and did we mention it's free? Over 10 million people use it, and it has 100,000 5-star reviews. So if you'd like to start saving money now, go to the link in the description and install Honey.
Hey, what's up everyone, it's Noah's Stories here, and before we get into the video there are a few things I'd like to say. Firstly, thank you for clicking on this video. We here at Anime Royalty want to ask you guys to please hit that like and subscribe buttons, and share the video after you're done watching it, as it helps Anime Royalty out a great deal. So check out the Discord that is in the description of this video, and if you ever want to join Anime Royalty by either being a host or maybe just help out on the side, please contact us on our Discord. Lastly, this video is written by me. If you like this video, you might like some of my own content. Link to my channel in the description below. Check it out after the video. Now with all that out of the way, let's get into the video. In the last episode, the League of Villains started their attack on the forest training camp, fully prepared to kill Bakugo and Midoriya, and any other heroes and students that stand in the way. After all, UA is the pillar holding the superhero society afloat right now. Midoriya defeated Muscular by unlocking a new power that was hidden within One For All. Todoroki was having trouble fighting Moonfish and decided to use his ultimate move he had been working on to keep him at bay. Meanwhile, at the main building, Shigaraki came looking for the heroes. Vlad King tried to protect the students like Aizawa asked him, but was killed by Shigaraki. Now, Midoriya makes his way towards where the main building was, with Koda in his arms. He is going as fast as he can, realizing he has to do what he can to keep his friend and everyone else safe. While running through the forest, a black hand suddenly comes out of the woods, slicing at Midoriya. Midoriya sees it coming, however, and acts reflexively, increasing his One For All percentage to about 20% and jumping into the air to evade the attack. The giant monster attacks again, and Midoriya sees Tokoyami stuck inside. He realizes what's happening and thinks, "Is that Tokoyami? What happened to him?" He tells us that Dark Shadow became strong in darkness, but that it's hard to control. Is this what happens? This is what he meant? Midoriya sees Tokoyami struggling to control Dark Shadow, screaming while struggling, "Get away, Midoriya!" Dark Shadow slashes at Midoriya again. Midoriya, to keep Koda safe, jumps straight into the air, reaching an altitude of about 25 meters. From that height, Midoriya sees everything that's going on. He thinks, "What's that fire? Wait, that's light. Dark Shadow is weakened by light, and it's easier to control for Tokoyami then." Midoriya looks around in the air while falling and thinks again, "Wait, where did the building go? And what is that giant over there?" The League is a lot more prepared for this attack than I thought. While falling, Midoriya sees Shoji, and once he lands, he starts running towards him. He approaches Shoji, and so far, he was hiding in the bushes, hiding from Tokoyami. Shoji says, "Midoriya, what are you doing here?" Shoji notices Koda in Midoriya's arm and says, "Who's that? I'm not safe here. Tokoyami lost control of Dark Shadow." Midoriya says, "He's going on a rampage, I know. Here." Midoriya hands Koda over to Shoji and continues, "Koda is the only civilian here. We have to keep him safe. Don't take him to the camp. It's not safe there. Look, I'm going to guard Dark Shadow over to the fire. That should weaken him enough for Tokoyami to be able to control him." Dark Shadow starts moving towards them as the trees are getting knocked down left and right. Midoriya yells, "Go now, keep him safe!" He charges One For All to about 50%. Koda with a crackling voice yells, "But you'll be okay, right?" Midoriya says, "Don't worry about me. Everything's gonna be fine." Midoriya starts thinking about All Might and what All Might prepared him for before dying. And a smile on Midoriya's face emerges, and he continues, "Because I am here to keep everyone safe." Shoji starts running away with Koda in his arms and says, "Good luck, Midoriya," while in his head thinking, "Is it me or did that sound a lot like All Might?" Midoriya gets ready to attack, waiting for Dark Shadow to approach. Dark Shadow breaks down the trees right in front of Midoriya when suddenly a giant explosion is heard. Dark Shadow then turns its attention away from Midoriya and starts running towards that sound. Midoriya says, what was that? Well, don't have time to think about it. Have to go take care of it, I guess. And he zooms off to go help. Where the explosion came from, Todoroki gets up from his attack. He looks over at Zero and the Class 1B student. The strength of the explosion took both of them out. Todoroki says, Zero, are you okay? Todoroki looks into the distance of his attack. He sees Moonfish on the ground. Todoroki says, at least I took care of him. Moonfish starts getting up and says, that hurt. Going to pay with your flesh. Todoroki thinks, that was my best shot and he is still standing? What can I do? Midoriya then comes out of the bushes, rushing at extraordinary speeds. Todoroki asks, Midoriya? He then yells, Midoriya, what? Look out! This guy's very bad news! Midoriya lands on the ground and sees Zero and the Class 1B student. He walks towards them, grabbing the Class B student, Kosei Tsubaraba. Midoriya says, Todoroki, grab Zero, we have to get out of the way now! Todoroki follows Midoriya's lead, and they quickly move the students out of the way. Todoroki asks, what's going on, Midoriya? Midoriya is looking super serious in front of them. Moonfish starts moving towards them though, and Midoriya says, you'll see. Dark Shadow then bursts onto the scene, attacking Moonfish. While Moonfish and Dark Shadow fight, Midoriya says, once the villain is taken care of, I need you to use your flames. Todoroki asks, why is that? Midoriya answers, that's Dark Shadow. It's gone wild. Dark Shadow takes down Moonfish and moves to attack the four students, and Midoriya yells, now Todoroki! Todoroki drops Zero and shoots a huge blast of fire at Dark Shadow. Dark Shadow then starts shrinking as Todoroki brings the flames closer and closer to Tokoyami. And Tokoyami says, thank you, in a weakened voice. Midoriya hands Tokoyami his hand and helps him up. Tokoyami says, thank you, Midoriya. You kept a cool head and managed to get help. Midoriya says, no problem, Tokoyami. Now, let's wake these two up. We need all the help we can get. In the main camp building, Shigaraki walks towards the students, Kaminari, Mina, Bakugo, Shinso, Monoma, Kirishima, and Sato, with Vlad King's body still decaying next to them. Monoma falls on his knees and screams, Sensei! Bakugo slaps Monoma's face and says, snap out of it, you useless extra! Monoma gets up and grabs Bakugo and says, you were a part of the league, how do we know you didn't bring them here? Kirishima says, don't be silly, Bakugo wouldn't do that. He was on trial, remember? Sato says, although it would make sense, send in someone to infiltrate UA, you know? Shinso says, hey, you're Shigaraki, right? Why exactly are you here? Shigaraki says, can't believe you haven't heard of me. Well, presentations are useless. I am here to kill. Shigaraki stops dead in his tracks, being affected by Shinso's quirk. Shinso says, go away. Shigaraki turns around and starts walking in the opposite direction. Shinso turns to the rest of the students, touching Monoma's shoulder, grabbing into it tightly, and he screams, how dare you! Of course we can trust him! He killed our leader and now they want him dead because of it. Now come on, let's get out of here before my quirk stops taking effect. He can kill all of us in seconds, like he did Vlad King. Everyone turns to run except Monoma. As they start running away, Bakugo turns and asks, what are you doing? Monoma says, I'm going to make him pay for killing Vlad King. Bakugo touches Monoma's shoulder and softly says, revenge? Revenge isn't something that you should be pursuing right now. It'll only get you killed. Monoma says with anger, I don't care. Monoma charges at Shigaraki, hitting him with one of Bakugo's explosions right in the face. Shigaraki's hand is thrown off his face, and he walks towards the hand and carefully puts it back on. Monoma charges in again. This time, Shigaraki reacts and is about to touch Monoma, but before he can, he is hit by a gigantic explosion. Gigantomachia takes a step and asks, Master? Shigaraki stretches his hand, making a stop sign, and smiles. He says, oh, Bakugo! So nice to see you again. You know, I didn't get to say goodbye last time. This time, I'll make sure that you are gone for good. Shigaraki uses his quirk and the ground itself starts decaying around him. Monoma screams, why do you want to kill him so badly? Isn't he part of your league? Shigaraki laughs and says, Katsuki Bakugo part of the league? No. In fact, Shigaraki's paralyzed again by Monoma copying Shinso's quirk. Both Monoma and Bakugo start running away. Bakugo asks, "How did you do that?" Monoma says, "My quirk allows me to copy up to 4 quirks at a time for about 10 minutes now. Originally it was 5 minutes, but after training I touched both you and Shinso, so I copied your quirks." Both Bakugo and Monoma then disappear into the forest. Shigaraki, frozen in place, starts getting madder and madder, his quirk going wild, destroying the ground around him. He manages to free himself from the brainwashing. Shigaraki says, "Giganto?" Gigantomaki says, "Yes, master." Shigaraki says, "After them." Gigantomachia then takes a step. Back in the middle of the forest, Midoriya runs through the forest looking until he hears what sounds like saws. Midoriya runs towards the sounds, finding a Nomu that is going after a beaten Yaoyorozu that is being carried by Yuzetsu Awase. Midoriya sees them and he goes directly for the Nomu, yelling. The Nomu stumbles back after the punch. Midoriya runs back into him. The Nomu is going to hit Midoriya, but Midoriya ducks, and using 20% of One For All, he sweeps the leg, making Nomu fall on his back. Awase, having let Yaoyorozu down on the ground, then runs, welding the Nomu to the ground, immobilizing him. Awase says, "Thank you. You're Midoriya, right?" Midoriya says, "Yes. You're Awase from Class 1B if I'm not mistaken." Awase says, "Yes." Yaoyorozu tries to get up on both Awase and Midoriya walk towards her and help her up. Yaoyorozu looks at Midoriya and says, "Midoriya, what are you doing here? Is everyone else okay?" Awase says, "Saving our butts, that's what he's doing here." Midoriya says, "Yes, everyone is okay, at least for now, that I know of. But I actually came to ask for a favor." Yaoyorozu. Midoriya grabs out a small piece of paper and asks, "Can you make these?" Yaoyorozu opens the paper and sees designs and the molecular composition for a new suit and a few other things. Yaoyorozu says, "I should be able to, with the lipids I have left, although it will leave me out of the running." Midoriya says, "Great, because if we're going to survive, we're going to need this." Thank you all for watching the video to the end. Now, there are a few things that I'd like to go over before the video ends. Firstly, on behalf of Anime Royalty, I would like to thank you, the editor of this video, for editing it. These details will be in the description of this video. If you enjoy this video, you can find stuff like it on my channel as well. I did write and voice act it, so you might like some stuff over there too. Link to that in the description below. Secondly, please make the noble decision to like, comment, and subscribe. You can also hit the bell to not miss out on any of our future videos. If you're a voice actor, editor, or writer, or you're interested in becoming one of those, go to the Discord that is in the description of this video and hit up the head of one of those areas. We're always looking for members to join us. That's it for us for today's video. Also, Anime Royalty reigns supreme.
In the sky, gazing far into the night, I raise my hand to the fire, but it's no use, cause you can't stop it from shining through. It's true, baby, let the light shine through. If you believe it's true, baby, won't you let the light